Most people learn to be humble, soft, and agreeable, yet the world crushes them. This will break your false beliefs. If you've ever doubted yourself, waited when you should have acted, or worried what others think, you're not confident. You're programmed. This is your cure. They told you confidence is a feeling, that it comes from belief, hope, and positive thoughts. They said if you speak nicely to yourself and repeat good words in the mirror, you'll feel worthy someday. They told you to fake it until you make it. But confidence is not belief. It's not soft. It's not a weak emotion waiting to be pumped up. Real confidence is ruthless clarity. It's the cold, harsh truth about exactly who you are and what you're not. You think powerful men believe they're perfect? That they walk into rooms thinking they're better than everyone because they repeat mantras? No, the powerful man knows his flaws better than anyone else could. He has studied them. He sat with them quietly. He has torn apart every insecurity, every childhood wound, every failure. Not to cry about them, but to understand and control them. Confidence doesn't grow in lies. It's born in confrontation, the brutal kind no one wants to face. Look in the mirror, not the fake mirror of social media and praise from others. I mean the internal mirror that shows your weaknesses, fears, jealousy, and cowardice. Most people can't look for more than a second. They distract themselves with noise, comfort, and validation. They can't handle the silence of knowing themselves, so they stay weak and call it humility. But real humility is admitting what you lack so you can conquer it. Not so people accept your brokenness, but so you can sharpen yourself into a weapon. You think you're shy? You think you're worthless? Good. Now trace that thought to its root. Find the exact moment it was planted. Was it your father's voice? A rejection you never forgot? A betrayal? Go there. Dig it up. Tear it apart. Look at the monster you've been running from and see it was smaller than you thought. Ruthless clarity means knowing your limits and still daring to test them. It means seeing that you're not the strongest, smartest, or most charming, and still refusing to bow. The masses want to feel confident before they act. The wise man acts despite what he feels. That separates rulers from the ruled. If you wait to feel ready, you'll never move. You'll rot in hesitation. Confidence isn't required for action. It's the result of disciplined action taken while afraid. Ruthless clarity isn't just internal. It's social and strategic. It means understanding how others see you and knowing when to let them. Most people fear judgment, but the confident man uses it. He sees how the world sees him, then decides, do I strengthen this image or destroy it? He knows when to show the truth and when to use perception as a weapon. If they think he's weak, he lets them until it's too late. If they think he's powerful, he keeps it that way with silence. He doesn't correct rumors. He doesn't beg for understanding. He watches. He manipulates when needed, because confidence doesn't seek to be understood. It seeks to command. You're not meant to be liked. You're meant to be respected. And that can't happen if you lie to yourself. Men aren't ruled by truth. They're ruled by what they believe is true. Understand this and you'll hold the strings of influence. Confidence isn't something others feel from you. It's something you build in their minds. It doesn't matter how strong you are. It matters how strong you appear. It doesn't matter how certain you feel. It matters how certain you look. The illusion, when made with precision, becomes reality. Most people spend their lives reacting. They walk into rooms trying to fit in, be liked, be understood. But the one who shapes perception doesn't walk in seeking approval. He walks in projecting dominance. He speaks slowly. He doesn't fidget. He says less than needed. He lets silence do the talking. Why? Because stillness makes uncertain people nervous. Silence is a weapon when used by a man who knows how to let others speak first and reveal themselves. To control perception, you must master strategic invisibility. That means learning when to disappear, when to hold back, when to be unreadable. People fear what they don't understand. When they can't read your intentions, they start to project. They assign mystery, power, threat, and you don't have to do anything. Their imagination does the work. You don't need to convince the world you're powerful. You only need to stop trying to convince them you're not. Most people try to soften themselves. They smile too much. They explain themselves constantly. They over-apologize. They fear being misunderstood, so they reveal everything. That's a weakness. That's desperation. Let them misunderstand you. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Because in that space of uncertainty, you create leverage. Confidence doesn't come from heaven. It's not given by gods or fate. It's forged in fire, under pressure, through confrontation with one enemy above all, fear. You believe you need to feel confident to act, but that's the lie that keeps you weak. The truth is more brutal and more freeing. You act in the face of fear, and only then does confidence begin to form. Not before. Never before. Fear isn't your enemy. Fear is your raw material. It's the iron ore that must be melted, molded, and hammered into the weapon called confidence. Every confident man you admire has faced humiliation. Not once, repeatedly. He has walked into rooms knowing he might be judged. He has spoken words he knew might fail. He has approached opportunities where rejection stared him in the face, and he did it anyway. That doing it anyway, that's where confidence is born. If you need other people around to feel strong, you're not strong. If your confidence depends on applause, validation, or approval from friends or strangers, then what you have isn't confidence. It's dependency dressed up as false pride. Strategic isolation isn't about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about stepping away with purpose. It's about removing noise so you can hear your own mind speak clearly. Most people surround themselves constantly, not because they're social, but because they're scared. Scared of the thoughts that come when the room goes quiet. But the man who willingly isolates himself becomes dangerous. He starts to see the machinery behind the performance. When you no longer fear being alone, no one can threaten you with abandonment. When you no longer crave constant company, no one can bait you with inclusion. Strategic isolation forces you to become your own source of motivation. There's no one to clap for you, no one to rescue you, no one to tell you you're doing well. So you build that strength inside. Now you understand. Confidence isn't light. It's a shadow sharpened into steel. It's not given. It's taken. Not by pretending, but by seeing yourself clearly, seeing others as they are, seeing the game for what it's always been. You weren't born weak. You were trained to be weak, conditioned to seek approval, taught to flinch in silence, programmed to serve instead of rule. But the moment you choose to unlearn, to face fear instead of escape it, to stand alone rather than kneel in a crowd, to become unreadable rather than agreeable, that's the moment your confidence becomes dangerous. Let others be admired. You will be remembered. Let others be liked. You will be feared and respected. You don't need the world to approve of your strength. You only need to become the kind of man who no longer apologizes for having it. Real confidence, when it's built in the dark and worn like armor, doesn't ask for permission.